Today we're going to take a look at our kitchen renovation in the glebe. We're going to start off by removing all the kitchen stuff, demoing it, removing all the supporting walls, and then we're going to be throwing in some structural beams, making it a bit more open concept, adding a larger kitchen island. So today we're taking up the hardwood floor and we're taking a look in the crawl space down below. There's a lot of rubble in there and we're wondering if we can insulate the space and if there's any structural damage from mold and or from the weight of the rubble. Yesterday we ran into a bit of an issue with possible asbestos, so we called in a guy to come in and test it and we're waiting to hear back. So those sensitive areas we have to just leave until we get the go or we find out there's asbestos and we can bring the remediation team in to remove it.
Day 6, still working on demo, 100-year-old home, finding lots of issues. Right now our guys are working on clearing up a floor system that was built with insufficient lumber. So we got to pull that out, restructure it. Also beneath it, there's about 12 inches of concrete. We have to chip that out, turn the basement into a more usable space, storage area for the clients.
We found this in the wall. This is some rewiring that was done for the second floor because unfortunately this house has every generation of wires in it. So this was a previous electrician's attempt to rewire the second floor. So we got this to work with. Unfortunately they didn't rewire the first floor. So what we've got some splices in the wall that we found. I don't know if you can see the one that's way over there. That's the remnants of one. We also got some aluminum wiring, and unfortunately we found a bunch of live knob and tube. Over here in the corner we can show you some of it. What we have here is a bunch of live knob and tube. It's all disconnected from the panel now, but it was all live when we showed up. This is going to switches and lighting. What they had done in the past, someone has rewired the plugs to new wiring, but left the old wiring in other places. So unfortunately, we saw the new wiring and tested the plugs and everything looked great. And we knew that the second floor had been rewired, so we thought a lot of this had been already rewired. And unfortunately, this was a big surprise, along with other stuff in the kitchen. That's electrical issues. The plumbing issues we found, the kitchen had been moved at one point to where we're going to be putting it back, and a new bathroom would be done above the kitchen. Neither one of them were vented. Not a big deal now. Our plumber is going to have no problem reventing it. So that'll all be done properly. But, you never know what you're going to find when you open up the walls. Open vents and sewer gas is leaking into the house. We got lucky on this one. We can show you over here in the corner. Up here we had the main stack going out of the house. And where the insulation is packed is because that was open when we opened up the ceiling. So at some point that had been removed, the cap that was there, and left to open. This is not being used at the moment because of the reno. But we're going to have to refix that. So they had sewer gases venting into their roof or into their floor system, along with the kitchen vent that was going into the floor system. Our guess, the reason they didn't have the sewer gas smell was because this is a nice straight 4-inch line that goes straight up through the roof. The gases never had a reason to come out. It was much easier for them to take the path of least resistance that was just straight up through the roof. So we got lucky there. The other big one we found was a 12-inch concrete slab that was in this hole here. You can see the remnants of a beam on the left, and the holes on the right were floor joists that went into the foundation. So on top of that, there was a 12-inch concrete slab that we're guessing was a mudroom at one point, with a door out to where that framing was and 2 windows here. Years ago, someone reframed it all in and made this the kitchen. But we weren't prepared for that 12-inch slab. That was actually hidden, fully drywalled up. We thought this was a crawl space, not realizing it was actually foundation underneath it. So that's all gone, going to get reframed today. When we opened up this ceiling, this 3-inch line for the toilet upstairs, that was a renovation, has been pitched up. So it never really worked properly, never really had its full flushing force. But that'll all be turned around. It's actually going to run the other way now. So it's going to slope the right way back over to that stack. Apparently when the house was built, originally the staircase ran this way. As you can see over there, it now runs the opposite way. Not too big of a deal, but unfortunately the guy who was here before us, when he framed the floor, didn't do the best job. But we're going to keep that what's there, and we're just going to reframe it and not touch upstairs. The 2x4s here on the right, you can see, aren't actually being tied into much. On the left, they are sitting on a little bit of a ledge. But because of that, we're going to have, and then unfortunately this floor joist had been cut, which originally would have run all the way to the left, being picked up its load there, and then the header joist, I guess you'd call it, was bearing off it, but that one had been cut, so we've got a temporary wall holding it up for now until we're able to get our new 2x10 in there to structure it and then pick it up on that side on the new steel beam. So unfortunately with this old house and the previous contractors that have been in here, some mistakes were made, and these clients now are going to be dealing with those issues and paying the cost on them. It would have been great to have seen the old plumbing that had been done properly, so we wouldn't have had to touch it. Along with the electrical rewiring we've seen, if those had been done properly, we wouldn't have to be touching those either. Unfortunately, because of all the issues we've seen, both plumber and electrician are wanting to do a full rewire and a full replumbing of the whole job to make sure it's done right. And that's unfortunately the problem with these old renos and these old houses sometimes. This is Darcy from the Contract Builder. Subscribe to this channel for updates on this project and our net zero build.